No matter your gameplay style on Conan Exiles, you probably want to get to level 60 sooner than later. Get out of the desert and gain access to all this good building stuff, and if you're a bit more of a fighter, better resources for fighting, more stat points for killing. As speed leveling is predominantly done by people playing official PvP, these are the settings of this server, so you might get it done a little bit quicker or a little bit slower depending on your settings. 1 times everything, 2 times harvest. If you are a little bit newer to the game, I do advise going through all your journey steps to begin with. There's no point rushing straight to a spot when you can get this stuff done along the way, get a few resources up in your pocket. And it's going to teach you a few handy hotkeys like G to access your attributes, etc. No matter which strat you are doing in this video, you will likely want to get to at least efficient harvest. So we're going to start just popping points in here. First, we're going to go over what gives you good XP, and then a couple of the strats that I would do depending on how you want to play. My FOV is so close and it's actually tripping me out a little bit. Goddamn settings changing. But it's probably great for all the people who don't play PvP and are always like, holy FOV. You might have guessed, harvesting and killing are still very good XP. And some of the first you might find to harvest that'll come in handy is your aloe along the beach. There are a couple of ways to get up some decent tools and armor, which I'll go into a little bit later, but it'll really help you in these earlier stages. I mentioned quickly, I've got another video going deeper into all of these guys, but if you've accidentally started on the Exiled Lands and you maybe want to go over to Sipta or vice versa to do your leveling, get some recipes, find these adherents of the Outer Dark. This guy's really easy to find in E4, right at the very little corner there near the Shattered Bridge. Talk to him and you can teleport to Sipta if you have that DLC. Other than aloe vera, some other basic resources you might find on your venture that'll come in pretty handy and give decent XP are these dead trees. And of course, the better the pick you have, the more XP you're going to get because the more you'll harvest. You can also find chunks of brimstone outside of the Brimstone Lake. I've got a different video that does go into all the different locations along Noob River. Go along and hit that up, and you'll be using that later anyway. You can stash it in a box for now or drop it if you really want. Now, these strats can change wildly depending on whether you're a single player or whether you're part of a crew, and I will go into that when we talk about the actual strats themselves. Another good and easy source is mushrooms. And once we get 1 more point there, we will get even more XP from just this regular harvesting. There are some places that have a lot of puffballs, and this spot is particularly close to the Lotus, and we want efficient harvest. Then we get about 2000 XP from just a single mushroom. I'm here in L7, but there are a lot more. Here's particularly good because you can get all the mushrooms and then go over behind the Eastern Barracks. You'll find a lot of birds, but they're pretty easy to kill. God damn, the water looks crazy. Sometimes you'll find one skulls, which you can get goodies off. Put down a bedroll if you're not wildly confident. I could possibly heal myself. But giving almost 5k XP, it's not bad. You can get true indigo here, which, again, not bad XP. Kind of useless at this point in your life. But hey, there's a fuck ton of it. You might as well get it while you're here and you can squish the seeds. But the real guy we're looking for is the purple lotus, giving almost 4,000 when you've got that efficient harvest, and there's a lot of it around, plus all the birds you can kill, and then there's more puffball mushrooms also, usually. Now, not all lotuses are built the same. The purple lotus is giving you that almost 4k, but the red give you a little bit more at 6.5, and we're here at Mounds of the Dead, where instead of puffballs, we'll find a lot of amanitas, but they're giving us similar XP, slightly less than the puffball. And the visual upgrade on these lotuses is top tier. Really enjoy them. But then we have the black lotus. Yes, there's gas and some gorillas. The gorillas, pretty good XP when you kill them, but they might get you good. They're kind of tanky. But with that being said, you can just roll around them and get that chunky XP. If I happen to have a hardened steel sickle or something, be even better. The gas ain't too bad, you can just run away. To be fair, was I even getting gas then? Yes, I was. Okay. Gotta check these things after updates, you know? The Black Garden is in N5-6-ish. I'm pretty close to run between here and the Purple Lotus. And gosh, if there's a map room in the area, you can always teleport at the obelisk and go over to Mounds. But you're probably already level 60 well before you do that. But if you did want to come straight to Mounds of the Dead, you can run up the Starfall Ridge and get some of this ice. It's not bad XP, and there's a little bit of black ice around here. Just down here. And there's easy ways that we'll talk about to get some nice hot food to stop you from dying, and maybe even a hard and steel pick so you can get more XP. Now let's talk about some of the pros and cons. The biggest con with the ice and the black ice is it's really cold, it's a little hard to get here, and it's a bit harder to find sometimes. If you know where to look, it's easy, but sometimes they don't spawn in, so the boxes don't drop them and you just have a rough time of getting a pick, whereas the sickles, very consistent. Then you have the problem if you're on a multiplayer server, maybe, just maybe, this is already gone because someone legitimately needs it for their base. Or there's other people leveling up because new things. Sure, you can put a bedroll down, a mass dye, or gather up some silver and come see Ephemus the Broker and buy some spicy pork. You can find it in boxes around the place too, but this guy, very consistent. Now if you're going to do some type of other harvesting strat like the Lotus, there's a very easy box that we can get for climbing up eventually. Seeing these ghosts, they're going to point to a box all the way over there on that ledge. Oh, there he pops up, and you get some potions, some other random crap, and a steel sickle. Not always, sometimes it is a different tool, but a lot of the time it's a steel sickle. You can also check out the sorcery cave, which I advise doing anyway, because a lot of the first tier, well, all of the first tier spells are free, so you can get ice bridge and things to get around a bit quicker. And if you're lucky, you'll get a tool and an upgrade kit, look out, and a better pick. Maybe some building supplies. Yay! We can get rid of some of the other crap, and now we've got actual weapons. And a bit of silver if you are going to Sepermeru. More options of sickles. So many sickles. Along the way, you might see some one skulls on the beach wearing anywhere from light to heavy encumbrance armor. Not too hard to bleed out with even stone daggers. Some killed them with admin mode for time. This guy dropped nothing, but he could drop up to 3-4 pieces of their armor, and then all of a sudden you got some free armor. Here's another one fighting a turtle. He's only in light armor. You can tame these guys. Well, I have to double check that actually. Used to be able to tame them. Took a long time to knock them out. Oh, nobody's dropping shit for me. How rude. But they might drop shit for you. Now you could just kill regular old trolls in a camp, but they're a lot harder to pick off because there's a lot more of them, and they're not wearing encumbrance armor. You might get random light strength armor, but you could also get some shitty tools and weapons off them. Now I personally like to hit up the Jhebbal Sug dungeon because I can get a lot of hides, a lot of meat, some beginner stuff out of there. There's all the ammonitas. It's pretty easy to run from here through the unnamed city, maybe touch the obelisk if you're feeling frisky, and the map room dealer, and then come on over here. Can also pick off a couple of these dogs of the desert, wherever they are. Nobody's spawning in. Cool. Event? Ah, event. Okay. Sometimes there's an event here and you gotta kill shit. But you can also find a camel dealer just up here. And if you harvest a few things for a stable, which you can unlock at level 15, wait a little while, you can get yourself a mount. You can also put them in a regular animal taming pen and get yourself a regular follower. You could have both of them follow you then at the same time and have a lot of camely backpack space. They also tend to have a lot of HP, which is quite nice when you are low level. You talk to this guy to get to the Jhebbal Sug dungeon. You will need some feral flesh, lots of snakes that you can hack up around here. Buy your potion of midnight. Now it did only used to last 30 seconds, but now I believe it's 2 minutes, yes. And you can go straight to Sepermeru from here by drinking the pool water, or you can run partially the dungeon or the whole dungeon if you feel like it. And what you're looking for is these mushrooms here. Hopefully you killed a few guys along the way and got a little bit of armor, because there's lots of beasties in here. Probably helpful if I left creative mode. Actually see how much XP you're getting. But you'll definitely get a few levels from this one room. They've nerfed how many are here for sure. And then we've got hyenas that we can kill, give them decent XP. And if you happen to want to just run here and try your luck at getting something out the box, you might get a sickle here. If you die, you're just going to spawn back at that pool and then hopefully be able to run and get your shit. Just slowly bleed them all out. Once you're done with however much of the dungeon you can be bothered to do, sip the water and end up in Sepermeru, where you can swim around and get some resource boxes potentially in the water, or all of the goodies chilling around in these boxes, which you can then dismantle this stuff with a dismantling bench and get some fun resources, or just run through on your way up to Mounds. And if I'm not already level 60 by now from doing the dungeon, if I've gotten bored of doing it, coming here will definitely get the rest done. Plus we got the dead trees, we've got these plants, We got these plants, and there's a ton of skeletons that you hopefully can pick off by now that might drop some things. They no longer drop armor like they used to. Get an emote spit. Woo! You can get metal up, maybe put down a forge, start some metal smelting. Like, even the yellow lotus looks so pretty now. And you might as well gather that up because almost 500 XP. There are also lots of loot boxes around here that you might be able to sneak to without maybe fighting these guys. Maybe you want to fight these guys and potentially get some vitality armor off them or potions. Everyone's been poopy at dropping armor. This guy dropped us armor, and we might even be able to get a free thrall. Oh, look out. Obviously, it's going to be easier to kill them once you have some armor. And we had no thrall in here today. Mounds look so glistening and pretty now. Everything's so pretty. Anyway, you can get lucky, and sometimes there is a hardened steel pick in the wall here, which will enable you to be able to get star metal if it falls, and you can blow it up by getting drag powder from a box or whatever. And speaking of free things, you can sometimes get some claws if they're spawned in the world by the den. So if you're in the hood, you might as well come up and check if they have spawned. For me, no. Maybe they took them out. To be fair, I haven't actually checked in the full enhanced, but in theory, they're there. They just sometimes spawn in. It really does depend on how you like to play, because you could just run somewhere straight away, use a stone pick, repeat die up at the ice. What if someone's already there? What if you have a bitch of a time running there? This is why I like to do the mushrooms in the Jhebbal cave or lotuses along here. If I fancy living in the jungle, I'll just run this way and get resources that way. You can use as many or as few of these strats as you like. Make a combination what's most useful for you, how your gameplay works. Sure, speed leveling's fun. Getting access to all of these points and all the fun building shit. And if you're with a clan, it can be a lot easier, especially to do the black ice, because one, they can teleport you there with an obelisk. They might have armor and picks and whatnot for you to already use. I mean, fuck, maybe they live nearby. And you do be needing some black ice in this game, I'll tell you that. But if you're a solo just pottering along, these lotuses will eventually come in handy. Also, most players already have a butt ton unless they're leveling. If you got a few people leveling, you might come across someone. And that's why it's nice, because there's other options. If you do the Jhebbal saga, run up through Sepermeru and up to Mounds. By the time you get to Mounds, you're probably already a little bit PvP ready. So if there are people there, you can already get them. Usually takes between an hour or two. I sometimes take up to 3 hours to get to level 60, or a little bit longer. I'm not super into having to rush these days. But if you got a friend with a teleporter, you can get that done much quicker, because half that time is running to places, which people tend to forget in these guides when they say you can level up in half an hour. Yeah, fuck, how am I going to get there? It takes me half an hour to fucking run there. If I have a mate with a map room, cool. If I'm solo, what good is getting to the black ice? Like, you gotta book it there and try not to die by anything. And I got a fucking stone pick? Woo. Nothing against the black ice. I sound like I'm really against the black ice, but Lotus all the way. Just saying. Still in creative mode. And the birds to kill. Look at them all. But in case you were wondering and you stuck around this long, they may or may not have fixed certain other methods. Now, this, of course, is reliant on you having the Catan DLC, but damn. But, you know, this could get patched in any second. We've been anticipating that happening for a fucking while now. So these other methods are still viable, and maybe you don't have the DLC, maybe you don't want to get a whole bunch of stone consolidant up in your life. Because that's also kind of a fuck around, to be honest. You have to harvest a lot of grass, build an alchemist bench, and have a shack somewhere if it's populated so you don't get ganked. Not a huge shack. You could do it in the open too, but yeah. Let me know in the comments what's your favorite way to level up. Hope that this information was informative. If it was, smash that like button. If you're not already, consider subscribing. You can see a lot more of my guides when they come out. Hit that bell. Use the scroll down box. Whatever. Stay tuned for some other other Conan guides coming up. I've got a whole lot of new ones that I'll be releasing because of all the pretties in the game, and yay. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye.